my people. Welcome to Run It Back Philly. Sixers not in the playoffs. Post-game reaction to playoff games. Yeah, that's a working title. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button for me one time. We're going to talk about a couple things, man. All my Opps took L's yesterday, except for Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. I was actually rooting for the Detroit Pistons, and I should have known that any team that is relying on Tobias Harris to score points is not going to get it done. So, you know, the Knicks end up winning that game on a ridiculous 21-0 run. And I think I did pick the Detroit Pistons to win that series, which might be a terrible pick. But we'll see game two, man. One thing I want to say is that game one, playoff series are so long and there's so many ups and downs. A lot of times you totally forget what happened in game one by the end of it. There's a dent in my hat. Yeah, hit the like button for me one time. Be active in the chat. Give me your thoughts on the NBA playoffs and everything that's going down and anything else you want to talk about. This episode of Run It Back Philly is brought to you by our friends at Mando. Mando is a whole body deodorant. It's time for spring cleaning. Some NBA teams need to do some spring cleaning. The Sixers need to do some spring cleaning. I am excited to get rid of my old deodorant because I have been using Mando. Mando is a full body deodorant that comes in many forms and has 72-hour protection. If you happen to be running around all weekend, no matter where you wake up, you're going to wake up smelling just as fresh as when you first put it on. They got sprays. They got the traditional stick deodorant. They got creams. They got everything for you. The starter pack for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping as a special offer for listeners. New customers get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off of your starter pack. Use code SICKOS at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. With Mando, you can be as confident as Cameron Payne when he comes into a basketball game off the bench. Yes, another storyline from yesterday is a player that the 76ers let walk out the door and is doing off the bench for the New York Knicks what he was doing off the bench for the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's just so Sixers, but it is what it is, man. Thank you to Mando for sponsoring the channel. Let's spark one DJ for old time's sake in memory of our beloved forever. Happy Easter, by the way, everybody. Get off the... My cat climbed up on the desk. All right, what do we want to talk about, man? Let's go. First of all, let's look at my playoff bracket, see how accurate I am so far. Thunder Grizz play today at 1 o'clock. Denver Clippers. I had Denver winning the series. Denver is up 1-0 after the Clippers had a 15-point first half lead. They choked it away to the Denver Nuggets. A miraculous victory. The Lakers got stomped by the Timberwolves. That might be my worst pick, Lakers over Timberwolves. The Lakers have absolutely no defense. Like I said, they didn't since they made the Luka trade. That video about how I'm not impressed by the Lakers. You added offense, you gave up defense, and now you have like some of the worst defenders in the NBA all in the same lineups at the same time. It's really bad. And no size and no interior defense. And Rockets Warriors is tonight. Lakers T-Wolves probably my worst pick, or Pistons Knicks. We gotta wait for that. I picked the Pacers over the Bucks. Some people said that's. I mean, I don't know how. Who. Like you gotta really understand what's going on in the moment. You know, people just think Giannis and they're gonna get Dame back, and that dude. The Indiana Pacers are a deep team. They've been a deep team for a long time. They have playoff risers. Andrew Nembhard, I got the Pacers over the Bucks, man, and I'm 1-0 in that one also. Heat Cavs wins that one. That's gonna be a sweep probably. I don't see the Heat taking either of those. And Magic Celtics. First one is today. We are live streaming that game at 3:30 right here on YouTube and on Playback TV. Join us on Playback TV. You can watch the game live in sync with us. It's a lot of fun. Playback.tv/RunItBackPhilly will be live for Celtics Magic. First thing, speaking of Celtics Magic, Dwight Howard is picking Orlando to upset Boston in the first round. Now you might say, who cares what Dwight Howard thinks? And that's valid. And Dwight Howard, of course, is a former Orlando Magic player, went to the NBA Finals with the Orlando Magic. And here's what he had to say. And let's decide if this is ridiculous or not.
You got Orlando beating the Celtics, bro.
I got Orlando beating the Celtics. And then I'm going to tell you this. When Orlando beat the Celtics.
Hold up.
When Orlando beat the Celtics.
Hold on.
You got Orlando beating the Celtics, bro.
I got Orlando beating the Celtics. And then I'm going to tell you this. When Orlando beat the Celtics.
Hold up.
When Orlando beat the Celtics.
So you think Paolo, Jalen Suggs,
who going to stop
Cole
Paolo?
Anthony.
Why did he even say Jalen Suggs? Jalen Suggs is out for... No, I'm thinking of... Yeah, Jalen Suggs out for the season. Why is he... does this guy not even know that? Didn't Jalen Suggs tear his ACL? Yeah.
You got Orlando beating the Celtics, bro.
I got Orlando beating the Celtics. And then I'm going to tell you this. When Orlando beat the Celtics.
Hold up.
When Orlando beat the Celtics.
So you think Paolo, Jalen Suggs,
who going to stop
Cole
Paolo?
Anthony.
Who going to stop Paolo? Who going to stop a healthy Paolo in
Derek
a
White?
7-game series? You tripping. He too
Jaylen
little.
Brown?
He too little. Paolo's 6'9". He's 6'10".
Jaylen Brown on that. Derek White on that.
He's
Drew Holiday
6'10",
on that.
275.
Man, they got two.
Come on, Dwight Howard knows it's a team game, right? He's trolling, right? He's not actually being serious.
Too many defenders, bro. They got too many.
You gotta at least come up with a better argument than that. You're basically saying you think Paolo Banchero by himself can beat the Boston Celtics?
Too little. They're too small.
Nah, bro.
Bro, listen.
They're too small?
If they beat the Celtics, then the East up for grabs.
That's what I'm trying to tell him.
I'm telling you what they're going to do.
What they going to do?
Paolo, go for 30. Nobody else is beating us.
He can go for 50 and they won't beat him.
I'm telling you, bro.
Nobody else is beating us. Who going to stop Jalen from playing defense?
Hey, Caldwell Pope going to have to go for 30.
We seen the Magic beat.
See, these podcasts are getting out of hand, man. Dudes are just getting on the mic saying anything for a little bit of a click. I feel like there's like producers telling these people, hey, you got to get on the mic and say something wild that'll get a bunch of shares on Twitter and Instagram. That's how you grow your brand. Because he's not being serious, man. No, unfortunately, Paolo Banchero himself cannot beat the Boston Celtics. Larry Jackson, it's not funny. It can happen. Orlando could end up beating Boston. I think I'll put my money on it that Orlando will beat Boston. No, they won't. I said Denver was going to beat Clippers, and they did. Yeah, Denver has a much better chance at beating the Clippers than the Orlando Magic have of beating the Boston Celtics. You know, I'm not fazed by the Clippers, man. On paper, they should beat Denver. But you saw what happened yesterday. They got absolutely out-hustled when it mattered the most. But that's a lot different than Orlando versus Boston. Orlando just does not have enough. They're trying to be Timu Gilbert-Arenas. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. Speaking of the Clippers, James Harden and the Clippers were up by 15 points on the Denver Nuggets and choked it away. You know what? I was shocked, man. Did y'all watch that game, the whole game from beginning to end? I was shocked. We were live streaming it on Playback TV and right here on YouTube, and it started out, it looked like it was going to be bad, man. They were up 15 or 17 in the first half, and and it looked like what Clippers fans were telling me was coming true, which was Denver doesn't have a point of attack defender to stop Harden from penetrating, and who's going to stop Kawhi, and Denver doesn't have enough size to deal with Zubac, and like all the things Clippers fans were saying were looking like it was going to happen in the first half. It looked like it was about to be a blowout, and I was like, bro, if they go up by 20, I'm turning this off. It looked like Denver did not have enough. And second half, totally different story. They found a way to turn up the defense with a pretty lackluster defensive roster, and then in the fourth quarter and overtime, they won on hustle points straight up. Aaron Gordon had 5 offensive rebounds. Russell Westbrook had 4 offensive rebounds. Russell Westbrook had 4 offensive rebounds. Hold on. He had a total of 4 offensive rebounds. He had 2 offensive rebounds. I'm pretty sure all of his offensive rebounds came in the fourth quarter and overtime. Look at this. Russell Westbrook, offensive rebounds in the fourth, 2. Overtime, offensive rebounds for Russell Westbrook, 2. He had 4 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter and overtime alone. And if you watch some of these clips, man, the Clippers just don't box out. They play James Harden basketball. All you got to do is box out, man. All you got to do is box out. They got beat on the glass so many times in crunch time. And it was Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon in overtime. 4 offensive rebounds for the Nuggets in overtime. 4 offensive rebounds in 5 minutes. That's the story of the game. Clippers don't box out. And for it to be Russell Westbrook is wild too. He hit that corner 3 with like under a minute left that put the Nuggets up 2. It was one of their first times leading the game. They were trailing the whole game. Russell Westbrook of all people in the corner. Clippers leave him wide open. Somebody educated me and said, you didn't even know Russell Westbrook was a 42% 3-point shooter this season? And I was like, what? And then I checked it, and he is. He's 42% from the left wing and 46% from the right wing. Russell Westbrook. How has nobody been talking about this all season? And it seems like the Clippers didn't know that either because they didn't guard him. They were guarding him like Ben Simmons, man. And I talk a lot of stuff about my opinion on Russell Westbrook, but he shut me up yesterday at least. I mean, it's a 7-game series. But if the Nuggets can continue to get that level of hustle out of Russell Westbrook, the killing the offensive glass and knocking down a big time corner 3 in crunch time, and I don't expect him to knock him down all the time, but 42% for Russell Westbrook is crazy. I can't believe I haven't heard that from any just like NBA talk this season. I did say when it happened, hopefully this doesn't give Westbrook some kind of false confidence and he starts chucking shots. And he did exactly that, which is what Russell Westbrook does. You have to live and die with the good and the bad. After he hit that shot, he took like 3 more shots in the final fourth quarter, in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. And then he ends up with the ball in his hands with the potential game winner in 100 to 100 or 103, whatever it was to go to overtime. They double team Jokic. He doesn't get the ball back to Murray. They skip it to Westbrook, and he jumps and tries to throw the ball off of Harden or something, and the clock ran out. It was a terrible final possession, and it was like, damn. Like, you're happy Westbrook hit the corner 3, but then you kind of don't want to give him the ball anymore, right? Because he thinks he's going to take over and be the star of the show, and like he's going to shoot you out of the game. You have to take Russell Westbrook for what he is and hope that he doesn't shoot you out of the game. So we'll see if the Nuggets can continue it. But man, that was a good win, man. Because I thought they were dead in the water in the beginning of the game, and they came together. They played tough defense. Christian Brown played great. Christian Brown's defense on Kawhi Leonard, that needs to be talked about more. Because what? Kawhi Leonard had 2 points in overtime. Kawhi Leonard had, like, I know I would love to blame the game on James Harden, but I can't. You know what I mean? Kawhi Leonard had 6 points in the fourth quarter and 2 points in overtime. Kawhi Leonard had 8 second half points. No, Kawhi Leonard had 6 second half points. Bro, what the hell happened? He only shot the ball 5 times in the second half. So, I mean, obviously the Clippers need to get Kawhi Leonard much more involved, especially in the second half and important parts of the game. James Harden needs to get Kawhi Leonard more involved in important parts of the game. But I was really impressed by Christian Brown's defense, even Peyton Watson's defense at times. Aaron Gordon's defense, they stepped up and got it done. Michael Porter Jr. was an embarrassment. He is the West Tobias Harris. I've been saying that for a couple of years. I mean, dude, he's on a max contract and he gave you 3 points and was a -8. So I know Clippers fans want to say, well, we played like trash and this and that, and we gave up 4 offensive rebounds in fourth quarter and overtime, or just overtime. They gave up 4 offensive rebounds. They gave up 6 or 8 in fourth quarter and overtime. But Clippers fans, you can point to all the negatives and say the fact that we still won this game means that the fact that we barely lost this game makes us feel good about the series. But James Harden had a great game. Kawhi Leonard, 21 points, but again, 6 points in the second half. But you could say the same thing about the Denver Nuggets, man. Russell Westbrook shot 5 for 17. Jamal Murray had a good game. Effectively, he had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. But if you really look, he was 7 for 20. So you could say the same thing about the Denver Nuggets on the other side. They didn't shoot the ball well. And you got absolutely nothing out of Michael Porter Jr. So you could say the same thing about the Nuggets. They barely won, but there's a lot of things they didn't do well. The Clippers also had 20 turnovers, which is wild. So if the Clippers clean up the turnovers and get Kawhi Leonard more involved in the second half, maybe they win this series. This series is still a toss-up to me. I want Denver to win, but this series is still a toss-up to me. If Denver gets more out of Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook shoot a little bit better, maybe they win the series, But yeah, I mean, James Harden, 32 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds. He was cooking. I got to give him credit. He was cooking, man. He even carried the Clippers in overtime. He had 7 points in overtime. And they still couldn't pull it off. We'll see. James Harden has had good games in the playoffs, and then he's had games where he completely disappears. So we'll see if he continues that or if he completely disappears. But Nuggets pull out the victory in Denver. Now they go back to. Do they go back to LA already, or is it 2-2-1-1-1? It's 2-2-1-1-1, isn't it? So Denver, they got to play in. They got to play in Denver again. What do we got? Probably Monday, game 2, 10 p.m. Is that in Denver? What do you guys got in the chat, man? Yes, that is in Denver. Let's go. Let's get the Nuggets up 2-0. Let's get the Nuggets up 2-0 on the Clippers. What else did I want to talk about, man? What you guys saying in the chat, man? James Harden been isoing and pick and rolling with Zubac. Zubac had 22 or 24. Most of them been in the third, early fourth, I believe. Nuggets rotation is too tight. Look at those minutes. Alderman is Tibbs in the making. Yeah, but he doesn't have a roster, bro. Like, the Nuggets aren't deep at all. You know what I mean? What's he really supposed to do? The Clippers are deeper, which is why everyone's kind of picking the Clippers to win the series, but the Nuggets won on straight hustle. Straight hustle. All your Opps did not take L's yesterday. Knicks in 4. Yeah, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about the classic Tobias Harris choke job. Yeah, what's he supposed to do? It worked, exactly. Plus, there's the minutes police, Everybody overhypes minutes way too much, I think, in today's NBA. Players used to play. Allen Iverson averaged 41 minutes a game, dude. He averaged 41 minutes a game. Nobody back then was ever talking about minutes. You know? Michael Jordan used to play all 82 games in a season at like 35 minutes a game. Nobody ever talked about minutes. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, he played all of his guys 40 minutes. They're going to be run into the ground. These are professional athletes. You can't play basketball hard for 40 minutes? Why do we act like 40 minutes is 4 hours? Why do we act like these guys were in a boxing match for 4 hours when they were playing basketball for 40 minutes? I think all that's overhyped, man. I really do. Here is Doc Rivers after the Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Pacers. And I don't see the Bucks getting many games in this series. They got even with Damian Lillard back, they have a defensive issue. They have a Doc Rivers issue. They have a Kyle Kuzma issue because Kyle Kuzma is Kyle Kuzma, man. And the Pacers are way too deep, and the Pacers are too cohesive. The Pacers have been playing, this same group of guys have been playing together for a long time. Andrew Nembhard, TJ McConnell, Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, Nesmith is a bucket getter that nobody talks about. I don't see the Bucks getting many games in this series. But here's what Doc Rivers said about Kyle Kuzma having a scoreless playoff game. And this just reminds me so much of what this guy used to say when he was coaching the 76ers.
It's hard to score when you don't touch the ball. I mean, no offense. Kyle got 2 shots in the first half, both with 2 seconds on the shot clock. So, like, Kuzma can play, but we got to involve him, and we got to make sure we keep him.
It's always so funny to me how I used to say this when he was in Philly. He talks about the game as if he's a fan sitting in the crowd analyzing the game. You are the coach of the team. It's like he kind of talks after the game like he's saying all of the things that he should, like he wasn't able to talk to the players during the game. And then he comes out in a press conference and says all the things. Did you say that to your team? Did you say, hey, guys, let's get Kyle Kuzma the ball? It just doesn't make sense the way that he talks about the game afterwards. It just seems like he's not the coach of the team.
It's hard to score when you don't touch the ball. I mean, no offense. Kyle got 2 shots in the first half, both with 2 seconds on the shot clock. So, like, Kuzma can play, but we got to involve him, and we got to make sure we keep him involved.
The Milwaukee Bucks are so screwed. This is going to be the end of Doc Rivers. He's going to get fired after they lose this playoff series, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to request a trade. The Milwaukee Bucks are done for, and it's pretty epic that hiring Doc Rivers is the final nail in the coffin of the Milwaukee Bucks. You traded Drew Holiday. Dude, I remember when that trade happened. I thought it was a terrible trade. I remember when that happened, and everybody overhyped this Damian Lillard thing. Cool, he can give you 35 on a bad team. He doesn't make anyone around him any better, and he can't play any defense. You traded one of the best two-way point guards of the last decade plus in Drew Holiday, and the Sixers traded him too, by the way. And we can go back to the process and the fact that they should have just built around Drew Holiday, but whatever. You traded Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard. That's a horrendous trade. Then you add Kyle Kuzma, another guy who's just shrinks mentally in big moments. Is like, on paper, a classic, should be a really good small forward, but just a guy, he doesn't seem to have the mentality that you need to perform on the highest level or in the playoffs. I think the Bucks are done. I think Doc Rivers gets fired after they lose this series, and I think Giannis leaves Milwaukee. Is that crazy to say? Hey guys, I'm a Raptors fan, but I like this channel. Dude is hilarious. Hey, thanks, man. What is the consensus on Nick Nurse in Philly? Do you guys want him to stay or not? Philadelphia hates Nick Nurse, man. Philadelphia cannot stand Nick Nurse. We've seen enough. It's only been 2 years. He's Doc Rivers 2.0, man. Terrible for young player development. Stubborn. Not creative at all. Plays favorites way too much. Plays politics way too much. Then they go and get Kyle Lowry, which is the worst thing you could do with Nick Nurse, because now he's playing Kyle Lowry when he shouldn't be playing him at all because he loves him. Even after Jared McCain had 35 and 10 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Nick Nurse was still playing Kyle Lowry over Jared McCain. I was making videos talking about Kyle Lowry played more fourth quarter minutes than Jared McCain. How is that possible? Nah, Nick Nurse is terrible, man. But the Sixers aren't going to fire him because Sixers ownership group are frauds. It is what it is. Yeah, so Clippers take L. We're 1-0 in that one. The Knicks game, man. Like, how do you, I understand that Detroit is young and inexperienced, but damn it, a 21-0 run? 21-0 run. You know what sucks, man? I live streamed the Clippers Nuggets game, and then I went down the block to Permane Bros in downtown Hershey, and I sat at the end of the bar, and the Knicks Pistons game was on the TV, and the guy sitting next to me was a Knicks fan. And so not only did I have to watch the Detroit Pistons give up a 21-0 lead, I couldn't talk all the shit I wanted to talk about the Knicks because the guy he was a nice guy and I wanted to be like respectful. And he's like, I'm from New York or whatever, and we were cool. So then I was like, oh fuck, because I hate the Knicks and I'm supposed to hate you. So I had to sit there and watch the Knicks give up a 20, or the Knicks go on a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter, and a Knicks fan from New York sitting next to me having the time of his life. But it's only one game. It's only one game. But after that game, like, does anybody see really the Detroit Pistons winning this series? It's just really like, outside of Cade Cunningham, what do they really have, you know? They're gonna need more, man. They're gonna need more. Tobias Harris, 22 points in the first half, and it's all celebratory, right? I posted it on Instagram. Everybody's like, Tobias is cooking. This is the same story with this guy, year after year after year after year. 22 points in the first half. And by the way, he loves first round playoff series. He loves first round playoff series where there's not a whole lot of pressure. You know, he would do it with the Sixers. He would give us a 25 piece against the Brooklyn Nets in the first game of the first round or whatever, you know what I mean? And then second round, playing better defenses, pressure gets a little higher, he absolutely disappears. That all happened over the course of just one game for Tobias Harris yesterday. 22 points in the first half, tweets and Instagram posts and everything, DMs being sent to me. Tobias Harris is cooking in the playoffs. Second half, what did he do? 3. That is so Tobias Harris. 22 in the first half and a plus what? Well, he was still a -6 in the first half. Second half, 3 points and a -10. And just how in the world did you give up a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter? The Pistons scored 21 total points. They got outscored 40-21 in the fourth quarter. God, what a shitty team, man. What a shitty. Why? How did we fall for this? How did we? I let my hate for the New York Knicks completely blindside me into trying to tell myself that the Detroit Pistons are a good basketball team. Look at these guys in the fourth quarter. Minus 19, minus 18, minus 14, minus 11, minus 16. God. And Malik Beasley, this guy, I remember a couple of games against the Sixers this past season, man. This guy, they could be down by 20 points. He hits a three and does a dance. This guy does a dance celebration every time he makes a shot. It's the most annoying thing ever. And bro, you can't be making a shot, doing a dance celebration, and then missing your next three, and you're a minus 19 in the fourth quarter. The Pistons have too much inexperience and too much, like, I don't know, just guys don't look like they really care that much. Or they just kind of look like they're having too much fun out there. Like, they don't seem serious enough. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And the Knicks, you know, they didn't have a great game from everyone. What was Towns, man? Towns had 23, 11, and 5. Jalen Brunson 34 and 8, and some clutch buckets down the stretch. It's just, dude, I got to give it to him, man. I can't stand the way that he foul baits, but he wasn't getting the calls in this game, by the way, which I love. I love that James Harden's not getting the calls. There was a couple in the Clippers game where Harden tried to kick his legs out at the 3-point line or tried to throw his arms up, and he was busy yelling at the official while the team's running back 4-on-5. You know, Brunson a couple times tried to draw some fouls and wasn't getting the calls. And I've been happy with the way that the NBA is officiating the game so far in the playoffs. But I got to give it to him. Like, outside of that, man, the dude gets it done in the fourth. He is the definition of clutch. And when you tie game, if the game's tied and you need a bucket, man, Jalen Brunson's giving you a bucket, man. He is 12 points in the fourth for Jalen Brunson. And look who it is, guys. Look who it is in the fourth quarter. Cameron Payne had 11 points off the bench in the fourth quarter. Dude, man, I loved Cameron Payne in Philly, man. And we go into the offseason, nobody even said Cameron Payne's name. Everybody's like, oh, we need to re-sign Oubre. We need to go get Eric Gordon. We need to re-sign Fat Kyle Lowry. We need to... we were all like, what about Cameron Payne? Did you guys happen to watch him this season? Nope. Let him walk. He came in that game yesterday. Dude, Cameron Payne might be the most confident basketball player I've ever seen. Like, pound for pound. Like a guy that's never talked about, is undersized, is underrated, is always kind of counted out. He just plays with such a chip on his shoulder, man. And you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of J.R. Smith. Dude, he does not give a fuck. He comes in the game, he's getting his shots off. And you know damn well it's happening. Even late in the fourth, when they should have been running clock, he took kind of a heat check that was a bad shot. But that's what Cameron Payne does. He comes in the game and lets it fly. I respect that dude's confidence so much. And it's so much fun to watch when he gets hot, because when he gets hot, he starts. There's nothing you can do. The one was a step back, like 4 feet behind the 3-point line with a hand in his face. I'm so jealous that they have Cameron Payne cooking off the bench like that, man. But yeah, Tobias Harris is a fraud. The Detroit Pistons are frauds. They are not good. They might even get swept in this series. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe they take one or two, but I probably realistically have the Knicks win in this series now. I don't know why I ever even believed in the Detroit Pistons. Anyone that paid Tobias Harris $50 million deserves to lose forever. And then his shot makes you feel sick every time you see it. Dude, total standing sideways. Payne's shot is uglier than Ben Simmons. Oh, yeah, by the way, Ben Simmons had a decent amount of minutes yesterday for the Clippers, playing backup center. in the playoffs. And actually, in the first half, the Clippers were a +9 with Ben Simmons in the lineup. Yeah, they gave Tobias 2 years, $52 million. Yep. Yeah, they were a +9 with Ben Simmons in the lineup. I think the Clippers were a +9 with Ben Simmons in the lineup in the first half. Now I don't expect him to play in the fourth quarter. The thing is, Ty Lue knows what he's doing, right? And he knows that Ben Simmons can only be used one way in the NBA. And you have to play him at center, and you have to run the fast break. But there's not much outside of that, you know. And he had braids. And Ben Simmons with braids just, I don't know. He looks like Michael Beasley. It wasn't Simmons' fault. It was Philly's fault. It wasn't Simmons' fault. It was Philly's fault. It was Philly's fault that Ben Simmons is the biggest flop in number 1 in the history of the game. Wow. That's crazy. I don't know how it was Philly's fault. Ben Simmons is the first human to develop autism in his late 20s. Yo, it's Easter, man. We can't be saying things like this. Simmons shot the ball. He shot the ball in high school. He shot the ball. He didn't really shoot the ball in college at all. He shot the ball in the summer league, and then he got into the NBA and stopped shooting completely. But yeah, he played some minutes for the Clippers yesterday, and I just wanted to say it wasn't terrible. His minutes for the Clippers weren't terrible, but he's on a 1-year, $1 million contract. When you see him, you still say, like, dude, he's 6'11", 250. I want to say that no team's going to sign him after this contract is up, but I think with his size and speed and strength, he's at least gonna get a couple more minimum contracts, but I don't see much more than that for Ben Simmons anymore, which is wild. Generational regression. Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Cameron Payne, Doc Rivers, Tobias Harris, the Knicks. The Lakers got destroyed, man. I don't know how the Lakers are going to fix this. Let's go to the Lakers game. I don't know how the Lakers are going to fix this, man. They got embarrassed out there. And Minnesota has too much size and physicality for LA, man. Too much size and physicality. Look at this one lineup. I think somebody posted it and I put like a laugh emoji on it. Look at this one lineup, man. Look at this. Swipe a Cam posted it. Look at they played all of these players at the same time. The Lakers don't play defense. Absolutely not. Look at this. Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Hachimura, and Gabe Vincent. Not one of those guys. LeBron's 41 years old. So at least he has an excuse at this point to not be able to guard anybody. All those other 4 guys can't guard anybody. And this is what I said about the Lakers a couple of weeks ago after they made the Luka trade. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a good trade for the future. But if you believe the Lakers are doing something this season, they're not. I didn't think they were going to lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I underrated how much just size and physicality the Timberwolves have. Admittedly, I didn't know much about the Minnesota Timberwolves besides the fact that they were like 8th or 9th seed and ended up in the play-in tournament. But now looking at just how the Lakers can't match the physicality and the size and the rebounding and the interior defense, I don't see the Lakers winning this series. And what do they do then? You know, because LeBron can't go out like that. LeBron can't go out like that. You can't have your final season in the NBA be getting destroyed in the first round. And everybody's going to say like, well, LeBron gets Luka Doncic and still can't win or whatever. Dude, this is the whole thing about basketball, man. It's a team game. Luka's great at what he does, but you have to build a roster specifically around him. It's the same thing with Nikola Jokic. You know what I mean? He's great at what he does. One of the best ever at what he does, but you got to build the roster a specific way to cover up the fact that he can't guard anybody. You know, the first half of that Nuggets-Clippers game, James Harden was just going right at Nikola Jokic. And if the point guard couldn't stick him at the perimeter, he was just going to go right at Jokic every time. And you got to have strategies to cover up that defensive weakness. And the Lakers don't have a strategy at all. I don't know how they come back from that. I don't know how they come back from that. Maybe they do. I don't know. There was definitely the conspiracy theories that the Lakers were going to get a bunch of calls go their way. Maybe, where's the free throws at, man? Free throw attempts. The Timberwolves only had 10, and the Lakers had 16. So yeah, they didn't really get this like whole, the NBA wants the Lakers to win, they're gonna give them a bunch of calls and you're gonna have to battle the Lakers plus the referees, and that didn't really happen in game 1 so far. 10 free throw attempts, 11 free throw attempts for the 10 free throw attempts for Minnesota, 16 for LA. We'll see if that changes as the series goes on, but I don't see the Lakers surviving that. And I think that's another pick that I made that's probably a bad one. Where's my bracket at? Oh my God. I picked the Lakers over the Wolves and I picked the Lakers over the Rockets. Oh, why did I do that? Terrible takes, man. The dumbest thing was not playing Dalton Connect. He can't guard anybody either. You want to add Dalton Connect to this? Where'd it go? You want to add Dalton Connect to this? Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Roy Hachimura. You want to throw Dalton Connect in there to be another minus 30? The Lakers, it's what they're going to, I mean, you're right. He can score. The Lakers are going to, their only chance at coming back from this is to outscore the Timberwolves because there's no chance of them stopping them from scoring. And actually, what did the Timberwolves, I think they only scored 117. I think the final score was, 117 to 95. The Lakers couldn't break 100? Wow. So you can look at it the other way. The fact that the Lakers are as bad defensively as they are, and the T-Wolves still only put up 117. Lakers couldn't break 100 points, man. Well, we'll see what happens in game 2. But yeah, James Harden and the Clippers lose. Now we hope that Denver takes a 2-0 lead. That would be fun. We got OKC and Memphis about to kick off at 1:00. That's exciting. A lot of good games today. Thank you for tuning in. I love you guys. I will be live at 3:30 on playback.tv/runitbackphilly for the Celtics Magic game 1. Join me and hit the like button. Yeah. And I'll talk to you very soon, man. Happy Easter.